This is the Roxbury you see on the evening news. This is the Roxbury you don't. Tonight, NEWSWEEK correspondent Sylvester Monroe takes us inside both images, the gangs and the Girl Scouts, despair and determination, the presence of death and the power of dreams. Roxbury from the inside, next on Chronicle.
So where do you live now?
I live in Washington. Left
Why'd
here.
you move to Washington?
Got a transfer.
To where? Oh, you work for the news company?
No, I
out
work
there?
for NEWSWEEK.
Oh, you do, you right?
Yes, I'm on loan to these guys.
Uh-huh. For this special story?
Yeah. Because I grew up in the Robert Taylor homes in Chicago.
What do you mean the Robert Taylor home?
Robert Taylor homes, the largest housing project in Chicago, in the country. And I grew up there. I wrote a book called Brothers.
Oh, yeah. So you're the one. Okay.
Good evening. I'm Sylvester Monroe, national correspondent for NEWSWEEK magazine. I grew up in a Chicago ghetto, and last year I went back there, trying to find out what had happened to some of my childhood friends. Tonight, NEWSWEEK joins Chronicle in a special assignment. We take a look at the community of Roxbury, which I covered as the magazine's Boston bureau chief. In the wake of increased adolescent violence here, we wanted to see what it's like to grow up in Roxbury. Not from the outside, but from the inside, from the kids themselves.
I will do my best to be honest, to be fair, to help when I'm needed.
The child's body is to be buried in South Carolina later this week.
To be cheerful, to be friendly and considerate.
They came up with sticks and back of them.
To be a sister to every Girl Scout, to respect authorities.
They're shooting, and they're shooting to kill.
To use resources wisely, to protect and improve the world around me. To show respect for myself and others through my words and actions.
Drugs, violence, death. These are common images for Roxbury's children, who are, for the most part, normal kids struggling to lead normal lives. But their dreams too often become nightmares.
Like, you see people up here running from the cops and things like that, and then they lose their life. It's not worth it.
How does it make you feel when people say that Roxbury is a bad place to live?
It makes me feel bad because it's like where I have to live now for like about a couple of years or something, probably my whole life.
Somebody come up to you and ask you if you want some drugs. What do you tell them?
No.
Why not?
It's bad because it's bad. They put you in the hospital.
Talk of drug wars and gang violence makes you pray that these feisty little guys will make it to the ages of their big brothers without getting into trouble.
I just don't want to die at a young age, so I just try to stay away from drugs. And I just ride my bike and play basketball and football.
Officer, we're here in Roxbury at the corner of Warren Street and Copeland, where not too long ago, Richard Bailey, 18-year-old kid, was killed here. That's raised a lot of talk about gangs, violence in Roxbury, but this isn't a place that's associated with organized gang activity, is it?
I wouldn't think so. It's an incident that happened that was unfortunate that one of our young people got murdered. But the thing is I wouldn't really say that we have any organized gangs here, or groups. I mean, this is retaliation, and it's unfortunate that one of our children had to die because of retaliation over something that's really minute and foolish, but they probably think it's serious in their eyes.
So we're not talking about any kind of Bloods, Crips kind of situation like Los Angeles?
No, I wouldn't even compare those two together.
Kids are still in school, pretty much.
A lot of them are, and a lot of them aren't.
But what makes kids get into trouble? Some say weapons are carried for protection. So many kids have them, they are afraid not to carry a gun, for fear the other guy will. Dennis has turned his life around after being expelled from school because of a similar situation.
I was involved with a few friends of mine who brought a weapon to school, sawed-off shotgun.
But why would you and your friends have a shotgun in school?
Because someone said they were going to rob one of the guys that was with us. And for his own protection, he brought the sawed-off to school.
Yeah, did you ever find out whether it was true?
It was true. It was true.
How do you know it was true?
Because I was a witness to them saying it. I was there when they said it and everything. I was also one of the ones that said it wasn't going to happen.
And you guys were prepared to kill somebody to defend yourselves?
If it came down to that, I guess so.
Where would you get a sawed-off shotgun or any kind of gun?
Anyway, you can walk down the street, it's just like going to the store buying a bag of chips.
You know, we're finding out that most of these kids are being killed off between 16 and 24 years of age. You know, it's a quick life. I've talked to different members of different gangs and have told me that, you know they're not going to live beyond 22, so they're just going to go for it while they're here and have all the gusto that they can.
You're a member of the Interville Posse. What is the Interville Posse?
Well, Interville Posse is just about between 30 and 40 guys. That's just one big family. We all stick up for each other and look out for each other.
The police call you a gang.
Gang? Police call anybody over 10 people a gang, so you really can't say that.
You're wearing a Los Angeles Raiders cap, jacket, Adidas sneakers. What does that mean?
It symbolizes our unity within our family.
Family is a word gang members repeatedly used in describing their group, and maybe that's what they're really searching for, a comfort level of acceptance normally provided by the nuclear family, which has been eroded by unemployment, teen pregnancy, and the resultant despair. Material things take on a much more significant role in the absence of substance. There's a tree, you say, not far from here.
Yeah.
It's full of Adidas sneakers hanging from the branches. What's that mean?
Stands for 3 stripes. Adidas been in our family for a while now. It's been here since around 1978, 79, and now we got 2 more trees up there, symbolizing our religious beliefs in Adidas.
Strange fruit is swinging from the trees on some Roxbury streets. In the Intervale neighborhood, there are 3 trees full of worn Adidas sneakers. One gang member told me the 3 stripes on Adidas signified the military status of sergeant, that all other sneakers were considered privates. Tell me what the meaning of this tree is.
I'll let him talk the meaning.
Okay.
The meaning of this tree is a sign of excellence.
Sign of excellence?
Excellence, yeah.
Excellence at what?
At what?
Yeah.
Wearing Adidas.
Wearing Adidas?
Yeah.
Why not Nikes, Reeboks, Adidas?
No, because they don't make no money like Adidas do. Adidas make a lot of money, especially from kids like us, you know.
If you could tell the media, parents, people, anything you wanted about the Interville Posse, what you're really about, what would you tell them?
We're about self-respect. That's it. That's all.
What about self-respect?
We just don't want nobody to push us around. We just stick together as a family.
I've been living here. I don't think it's a good environment to live around.
Deidre Oliveira and Marlena Brown are best friends. At 13 years old, they feel the heat of peer pressure.
They tell you that you got to have certain kind of clothes or certain kind of jackets or something to hang with them or be around them. They think that you have to be a certain type of person to be with them.
The girls live in the Orchard Park housing project. In an environment where every building looks the same, they are struggling to be different than the crowd.
It's like the badness is going around everywhere, mostly everywhere. And there's really no good place you can really go, you know, to be safe. But I'd rather be anywhere but here. I mean, I'd rather be in heaven right now instead of being here because, I don't know, it's just like it's so hard.
So you two help each other?
Yeah, like we stay beside each other, even though we know.
Encourage each other, and no matter what we go through, she's always there for me and I'm there for her. You know, like whatever happens, like if she's going through something, I'm there for her. You know, we just pray together and, you know, hope we come through it. That's the best way to be.
There are some 26 Girl Scout troops in Roxbury, an estimated 150 girls. Like Scouts everywhere, they are committed to service in their community.
Girl Scouting, I think, gives girls a good leadership background. It helps them grow in a lot of areas that we would like to see girls growing nowadays with a lot of things happening out there.
Some are Muslim, some are Christian. Their common mandate is scouting. Their common bond is their heritage. There are thousands of children in Roxbury who are constantly overshadowed by the violence. They live on streets like these, and they are the children of loving parents. 17-year-old Sherry Kraft is one of them. Sherry is a Metco student in her senior year at Wellesley High. Although she's lived in Roxbury all her life, she's never attended school there.
It's hard to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and travel that far just to go to school. But I think it's worth it.
Your friends ever come home with you from Wellesley?
No.
For the weekend?
No.
Never?
Never.
You ever asked them?
Once I asked a friend of mine in the 4th grade if she would visit me, come spend the weekend with me from Wellesley in Boston, and her exact words were, "No, I don't want to spend a weekend in the gutter."
How'd that make you feel?
It made me feel inferior.
I mean, the fact that you come from Roxbury, go to Wellesley, and have done well, has that helped to change some attitudes out there?
I think that us going out there and making a good impression on them help the Wellesley kids and the Wellesley parents to see the better side of Roxbury, and to teach them that there is a good part of Roxbury, and that Roxbury is everyday regular people and not just dope dealers and dope pushers and gun-toting teenagers.
Why do you think kids here in Roxbury are into drugs or into guns, Adidas, all that whole syndrome?
I think that a lot of the kids see other kids with things that they want to have, and a lot of the parents can't afford to buy them those things, so they go out and get money the best way they can. A lot of businesses don't want to hire young black teenagers. They have to go work at McDonald's for minimum wage or whatever, when they could be making $100, $200, $300 a day out here selling drugs.
The glamour of what money can buy outweighs the method it takes to get it. And for kids whose very horizon stops at Blue Hill Avenue, self-esteem is often wrapped in expensive labels. Your brother, he went to Wellesley, he goes to Howard. He didn't turn to crime, he didn't sell drugs, you don't do drugs. What's the difference?
Well, I don't think there is a difference. I think that maybe our parents were able to give us things that some parents didn't. Maybe other people don't live with two parents. I live with two parents, and therefore, both of them buying me things or giving me things together make it easier.
You're not a wealthy man, Mr. Kraft. What do you tell your children when they want expensive gym shoes, the running suits, all the other things that other kids want?
Well, you try to teach them that there are more important things in life than the material things, you see. And I think the most important thing in life is to show them that you care for them and that you love them, and show them affection and teach them discipline and respect for the rights of others.
The Krafts say they are committed to Roxbury, and so are a lot of their friends.
Well, a lot of people in Roxbury love and care about each other, and there are a lot of people here that I've known all my life. We have parks, we have nice homes. There are a lot of good things about it.
While Sherry is not caught up in the recent violence, she is affected by it. She has had friends die and friends go to jail for murder.
I think they're trying to make a statement. They want people to know that they are here. They don't get any kind of positive attention, so they get negative attention.
How do you stay out of trouble?
How do I stay out of trouble?
Yeah, how do you avoid trouble?
I think it's the person that you are. I know that it doesn't make any sense for me to go out and sell drugs and get, for money and things. I stay away from things in my mind. It's not that I don't walk down Dudley past 8 o'clock, down the Dudley station past 8 o'clock, because I don't want to see them selling drugs. It's something that's inside of you that keeps you away. It's not where your physical person is, it's where your mind is that keeps you away from drugs and violence. And a lot of my friends are in gangs or whatever, but I don't push them away because they're a bad influence on me. I keep them close because I think I might be able to be a good influence on them.
This is the Roxbury that you don't often see. Upscale, middle class, and working class. The people who live here are normal citizens. Many are doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, and yes, domestic workers too. And they live here because they choose to.
Well, for us, it provides a certain comfort level, familiar sights, sounds, certain role models, and I think it also enables us to show our kids a certain way of life that we might not otherwise have an opportunity to share with them if we didn't choose to live in a predominantly black community. So we, by choice, have decided to make Roxbury our home.
Edward Redd is a Boston attorney. His wife, Shirley Johnson Redd, an anesthesiologist. They have 3 girls, Ivy, Sarah, and Rachel.
We want them, like ourselves, to come up with a sense of negritude, if you will, knowing who they are and where they're from and what they're about.
The Redds live in a palatial home, but it is located on a street where drug trafficking is not uncommon. You played on these streets, obviously, when you grew up here. Would you feel comfortable, your kids playing on these streets?
Well, quite honestly, we don't necessarily feel totally comfortable with them playing on the streets. We make a point to let them know the streets. We point out certain things in the community that are less than desirable, and we also point out to them the more positive aspects of the community.
There have been trade-offs. While the Redds are committed to where they live, they could not make that commitment to the Boston school system. So Sarah and Ivy attend private schools.
Really kick hard, you go a little higher.
One continual problem, say the Redds, is perception.
I think some of the biggest problems in the community, I think, is just the perceptions that people have of the community without really understanding or knowing the community.
And I think we need to focus more on some of the positive aspects of our community. And it does need improvement, but there are, areas that the people who live here are really working on.
Do you foresee a time when you may have to give it up and move?
We're prayerful that day won't come. I mean, we'd like to live here, and like I said, we'd like to raise our kids here, and we'd like to retire here, and we'd like to conclude with some very, very substantive connection to the community.
While Ivy and Sarah Redd are enrolled in private school, most Roxbury children are not. The pressures of the recent violence affect them, but for the most part, they continue to grow and develop.
Don't be cruel, 'cause I would never be that cruel to you. No, no, don't be cruel. Don't be. Oh, girl, you need to change your attitude. Oh, I know.
Sean Meadows is a senior student at the Jeremiah Burke High School in Roxbury.
You would think after reading the newspaper and seeing the news that all we do is dodge bullets every day and dodge knives and fight and shoot, but that's not how we live. That's not how I live.
Many kids resent the rap Roxbury has been given. The Burke had a bad reputation too, once. The school used to have a tough reputation. What's changed it?
Well, first, Mr. Holland has made the difference. Since he came here, the Burke has changed because he's doing something for the school. He cares. Like, he set some really strict rules.
Headmaster Albert Holland has been widely recognized for his strict discipline. He also knows and cares about his students.
There are a lot of good friends in the school that, that you could communicate with, do friendly stuff and stuff that won't get you into trouble. And then again, if you want to go out of your way and join gangs and stuff like that and do stuff that are illegal, it's up to you.
There's a lot of talk about gangs. How prevalent are gangs?
There are a lot of gangs around, but I think if you don't want to be in a gang member, you don't have to. It's just peer pressure.
Most of my friends, they're not really involved in gangs, but some of them, they'll go out and hang out, steal things, do this and that, and they'll say, "Hey, John, come on, let's go do this." No, I'm not down with that. It's not what I like to do.
Well, I'm glad that I come here to school every day. I have to stay out of that because I'm in a program after school that keeps me out of that kind of stuff.
For kids who are on the straight and narrow, after-school activities help to keep them there. Whether it's a community center or just a ball game, socializing without the threat to conform is reassuring. And most important, of course, is family.
If you have a family saying, well, don't do chastising you, don't do such and such, don't do this, and I'm proud of you and tell you when you're doing right and when you're doing wrong, and that gives you an idea. It splits from the streets and home. And I think about home first before I think about streets.
Roxbury's children, like the community in which they live, are not monolithic. They have different dreams and aspirations. Although Roxbury has more than its share of adolescent violence, and it must be curbed, it's not the Beirut war zone it's often made out to be. Neither does it have the Uzi-wielding organized gangs of cities like Chicago, Detroit, and South Central LA. And if Roxbury's children, who ultimately are ours too, are given the opportunity to learn and grow, they will find their answers inside themselves, instead of inside a world of violence and death.
What about the future?
I'd like to be a very successful pilot, even one of the best.
I like to be an aeronautical engineer.
Mechanical engineer.
Play basketball.
I would like to be a professional football player or either a businessman.
The thing that I really want in life is just peace of mind. That, you know, where I could say I did all my struggling when I was younger, and look at me now, I'm sitting on top of my world.
There are millions. And that's a fact. Oh, girl, as long as I've been giving my love to you, oh, baby, you should be giving me your love too.